Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a gun review between a CZ75B made in 1994, imported by Magnum Research, and then a 2014 CZ75B with the Omega trigger. So the Omega versus the standard, and then there's going to be some variants in between and a different importer. I'm not sure if that makes a difference, but I'll give you my input. First and foremost, there has been a safety check. No round in the chamber. Look at this barrel. It's nice and shiny. Alright. And now it's January 1st, 2015, and this was made sometime in 2014, so it's maybe a year or less. And look at this barrel. Hold up. That's like some rust spots, I believe. And trying to rub it and it doesn't come off, because this barrel is a white steel. I even called them about it and they acknowledged it, like, oh yeah, it's just untreated steel. If you're gonna pay, I don't know how much you would pay for this, but let's say like $500, $600, I would expect them to treat my barrel. Like, if I made guns at my house, I might treat, barrels myself, but, for the money, they should at least treat the barrel. I mean, I'm pretty sure Glock does it. I mean, a High Point doesn't have any rust on its barrel, or, I might be mistaken. I don't know. But, there's no feeding issues or anything like that, but there is rust. Just want to let y'all know. I don't know what's up with that, but that's kind of bothering me. And if you want to compare the two, very similar. Very similar. One thing that you'll notice is the beaver tail on this guy, on the newer one, is slightly raised up. This one is not. It's a little shorter. Other than that, and it doesn't really affect the feel. When it's in your hand, they're about the same. Now I'm going to talk about the trigger. Alright, so in single action for the original CZ, there's a little take up, and then there's a crisp snap of the trigger, click. Now with the Omega, there's a, wow, look at that. Look at that, it's a lot of take up. A lot of take up there. And then there's a even smoother break of the trigger, if that's what you call it. And then in double action mode, it's pretty stiff. Alright, and then for the original CZ that I have, it's a little stiff as well. I'm not doing any scientific tests, so I can't really tell you which one's stiffer, but this one is a newer gun and it hasn't been broken in like this one, so of course this is going to be a little stiffer. But then again, the mechanism for the trigger is actually different. If you do some research, I'm not here to break it down or anything like that, but from my standpoint, they feel about the same. One might be a little harder to pull than the other, but about the same. But I can definitely tell you the old one has a better build quality, as you saw from the stainless like barrel. There's no rust on it, and this guy's been alive for 20 odd years. This one's less than a year old and has some rust on it. That's just unacceptable to me. I like my guns looking good, and if you look at the aesthetic appearance, I mean, looks pretty good. looks pretty good. This one still looks good. They both don't have night sights. They are both standard sights. But what I can tell you is that this gun is actually more accurate out of the box than this gun. And I'm just an average guy, you know, don't really shoot competitively or anything. I just shoot guns, line up the dots and pull the trigger. So, nothing high tech here. I shoot way better with this one for some reason than this one. The Omega trigger, I actually got this one first, and then because it was a little bit more affordable. Then I picked up this guy, but yeah, this guy has a pretty sweet single action trigger. It's just that there's a long take up, and then for some reason this was not as accurate as this guy. And I've had another CZ where it was just really accurate, and it might have been something just like this one, because I know it didn't have the Omega trigger. Might have been a little later than this one. I mean, or a little newer than this one. But if I were to part with one of them, I would probably part with this one, just because the barrel is rusting. Wasn't a fan of that. There is a little bit longer of a take up, and I wasn't shooting as accurately. Actually, I could care less about the trigger. It just wasn't as accurate as this guy, and then it's rusting. So, I just wanted to make a video before this guy goes away, and actually put some nice rubber combat grips on it. Very nice grippy feel. This one still has like that cheap plastic. Oh, and if anybody cared to look, this is the box that it came with, and this is the box that this one came with, and the box game improved a lot. I mean, this one may have had some styrofoam or the foam inserts, but might have been lost over time. I'm not the original owner of either. This is gosh, getting stuff all over the gun. And then this is a nicer box, bigger. And then this one had a cleaning kit in here. Came with 2 mags. This one also came with 2 mags, and then had some cleaning gear and stuff, and they're all under here. And it had like the targets, and swapped out the grips like I mentioned. But I didn't really see too much information out there on the CZs, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And then my next video is gonna be 2 Arsenal AKs, the SGL-21 Russian versus the Bulgarian SLR 107 FR with the folding stock. Yeah, I know. I've wanted to know the differences too, but stay tuned for those. And if you wanted to know anything, just leave me a comment, and then I'll try to answer it the best as I can. I picked up this gun for $400, and I remember, and that was last year, 2014. My friend bought one a couple of years back for $350, and those are some deals, because honestly, these guys go for brand new $500, $600 plus. So because for $300 you'd be looking at like a TriStar or a Canic. But there's some deals out there, especially because not many people know about these guns. Or sometimes they might have a higher price because nobody really has them. Really just depends on how you get them. This one I paid $500 for, and this one was secondhand. And then I got this holster with it. It's a high noon holster. It's like $160, but I don't carry it over the waistband. Okay, it's just not my style. It's a nice holster, very nice holster, but it's just not something that I use. If I were to carry it, it's more in the waistband, but I have this holster. It's a nice holster. Yeah, that should conclude my video. So just to recap, the trigger on this is alright. It's basically long take up, smooth break. This guy is short take up, crisp break. So just keep that in mind. And for some reason, this one shoots a little more accurate. Build quality seems a little better. I also watch Iraq Veterans YouTube page, and then he was actually mentioning on one of his videos that the older CZs, are a good find, and he was so right, because I didn't really know, and I just try guns out here and there, and I never watched his video until after the fact. I've made my purchases. I just bought this because it was a good deal, and I was looking to spend about $500 for a CZ75B instead of alright, lost track of thought. But I was thinking I was trying to get the SPO1, the one with the rail initially, and that one is about what, $500-600. I was trying to get one of those initially, but then I came across this guy, so I bought it. But I'm not the type of guy to put a flashlight on my handgun, so didn't do that. I mean, there's some people that likes to put the accessories on the handguns, but I'm not one of them. Might have a flashlight in the other hand if I needed it, but I mean, I could see it being very handy. I just haven't really seen the need for it, and don't think I want to pay $100 just to pay another $100 for a flashlight on my gun. Anyways, I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, and hopefully you might check out some of the other things that I've made, and maybe just to have another look at the other side. And if you've noticed, the regular CZ has a silver trigger and the Omega has a black trigger. Don't know if there's any other distinguishable facts about, or any distinguishable things about the two, but the beaver tails have changed. The hammers have slightly changed. It's just slightly more opened up on the newer one. This one is not as big. Different forging mark on the trigger. Similar style oversized trigger guards for the gloved fingers. Another thing to mention is that the serial on the older one is actually, looks like it was written by hand. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like it's written by hand, because or it's a very thick engraving, and they're all unison, all the parts. Whereas with the newer CZ, it's a lot finer, more unison, and slightly different. There's that forge marking is gone. I don't know if it's made out of a different metal or not, because I haven't really weighed it, nor have I really noticed the difference. Might be the same. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to look at my video. I don't do the best reviews, but at least I made a video for you guys, so hope you guys are happy with that. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of negative comments, but I'm just trying to provide you guys with some information. If you're in the market to buy one of these handguns and compare the two, or wanted to know something about them, so please don't be too harsh on the comments. Thank you.